The upscale restaurant shimmered under the soft glow of crystal chandeliers, their light dancing across polished mahogany tables and pristine white tablecloths. The clink of glasses and murmur of conversation filled the air. A mix of the city's elite, business moguls, socialites, and the occasional influencer, savoring overpriced wine and artfully plated dishes. In a quiet corner booth, Jason Statham sat alone. His sharp gray eyes scanning the room with a calm intensity. He wasn't here for the spotlight or the glamour. After months of grueling shoots, relentless stunts, and endless scripts in Hollywood, he'd escaped to this city for a break. A chance to breathe, and feel human again. Dressed in a simple black jacket and jeans, he blended into the shadows. Nursing a whiskey and letting the world move around him. The half-eaten steak on his plate was fine, but it was the quiet he craved. A rare pause from the chaos of his life. Across the dining room, Lily, a young waitress in her early 20s, moved with practiced ease. Balancing a tray of drinks as she weaved through crowded tables. Her dark hair was tied in a neat bun, and her smile, though professional, carried a warmth that softened even the grumpiest patrons. She was working double shifts, saving every dime for nursing school. Her dreams buried under the weight of long nights and demanding customers. Tonight, she held it together, dodging complaints with a nod and a smile. Her resilience, a quiet strength. At a central table, Victor Crane, a hedge fund manager in a sleek black suit with a crimson tie, barked at Lily as she passed. His slicked back hair and gold cufflinks screamed wealth. But his sneer screamed arrogance. "Girl, you blind or just incompetent?" "I ordered the Bordeaux, not this cheap swill," he snapped. Holding up a glass of red wine like it was an insult. His two companions, equally well-dressed, snickered. Their eyes darting around as the room's chatter dipped. Lily's cheeks flushed, but she kept her voice steady. "I'm so sorry, sir. I'll fix it right away." She reached for the glass, but Victor yanked it back, splashing wine onto her white blouse. "Sorry doesn't cut it. Do you even know who I am?" Victor's voice rose, drawing every eye in the restaurant. "I could buy this place and have you out on the street by morning. Stick to flipping burgers, sweetheart." The room fell silent. Forks hovering mid-air. Lily's hands trembled, but she held her chin high, fighting the tears stinging her eyes. The humiliation burned, but she refused to break. She opened her mouth to respond, but words failed her. Jason's fingers tightened around his whiskey glass. He'd come here to escape, the cameras, the fight choreography, the constant pressure of being Jason Statham, action hero. He wanted a moment of normalcy. A chance to sit in a restaurant without a script dictating his next move. But watching Lily stand there, taking Victor's venom with quiet dignity, stirred something deep. He'd grown up in London's rougher corners. Seen too many bullies like this. Men who thought money gave them a free pass to belittle others. Setting his glass down, he pushed his chair back and stood. His lean, muscular frame cutting through the room's tension like a knife. Even in casual clothes, he carried an aura that demanded attention. Honed by years of facing down stuntmen and screen villains. He crossed the room in a few strides, his boots silent on the polished floor, and stopped at Victor's table. "Got a problem?" His voice was low. His London accent sharp, carrying a weight that made Victor's smirk falter. Victor looked up, sizing Jason up, clearly unimpressed by the lack of flash. "Who are you supposed to be? This ain't your business, mate. Go back to your drink." Jason's eyes locked onto Victor's, unblinking, like a predator sizing up prey. "You're the one making it everyone's business," he said. His tone calm, but laced with steel. "Talking to her like that? Makes you look like a prat. A small one." The restaurant's silence deepened. A few gasps punctuating the air. Victor's face reddened. his ego bruised in front of his cronies and the gawking diners. He stood, puffing out his chest, though he was shorter than Jason. "You wanna repeat that, tough guy?" Lily stepped back. Her voice shaky but firm. "Please, it's okay. I don't want trouble." Jason glanced at her, his expression softening for a split second. "No trouble," he said quietly. But his eyes were back on Victor, hard as flint. "Apologize to her. Now." Victor laughed. A harsh, grating sound. "You're joking, right? I don't apologize to waitresses, and I don't take orders from some nobody playing hero." He stepped closer, jabbing a finger into Jason's chest. "Back off, or I'll have you thrown out." The air crackled. Diners leaned forward, some pulling out phones, others whispering. The manager, a nervous man in a too-tight suit, hovered near the bar, wringing his hands. Jason didn't move. Didn't even blink at the finger prodding him. His calm was unnerving. A stark contrast to Victor's bluster. "Last chance," Jason said. His voice barely audible, but heavy with intent. Victor scoffed, glancing at his friends as if to say, "Watch this." Then, in a flash, he swung a fist at Jason's jaw, thinking he'd catch him off guard. Big mistake. Jason moved like liquid, sidestepping the punch with ease. He grabbed Victor's wrist, twisted it just enough to make him wince, and in one fluid motion, slammed him face first onto the table. Plates clattered. A wineglass shattered. And red wine bled across the tablecloth. Victor's friends froze, their smirks gone. The room held its breath. "Apologize," Jason said. His voice unchanged, like he was ordering coffee. Victor squirmed, his cheek pressed against the table. "Let me go, you lunatic," he spat. But his voice cracked. Jason leaned closer, his grip steady. "Wrong answer." Lily stepped forward, her hands raised. "Please, stop," she said, her voice steadier now. "I don't need this. I just want to do my job." Jason looked at her, and for a moment, something flickered in his eyes, recognition, maybe, of her strength. He'd come here to find peace, to step away from the chaos of his world. But he couldn't stand by while someone like Victor tore into someone like Lily. She reminded him of people he'd known back home. People who kept going no matter what life threw at them. But her plea hit him. She wasn't asking for a savior, she was asking for peace, just like he was. "You sure?" he asked. His voice low, meant only for her. She nodded, her eyes glistening but resolute. "I've dealt with worse. I can handle him." Jason held Victor a moment longer, then loosened his grip, stepping back as Victor scrambled upright, rubbing his wrist and glaring. The room watched. Phone still recording. "Apologize," Jason repeated, his tone final. Victor, panting, muttered, "Fine. Sorry." It was half-hearted, spat through gritted teeth. But it was enough for the moment. He grabbed his coat, shot a venomous look at Jason, and stormed toward the exit, his friends trailing behind like scolded dogs. The door slammed shut, and the restaurant exhaled. Lily stood there, her hands clasped tightly. "You didn't have to do that," she said softly, though her eyes betrayed a flicker of gratitude. Jason shrugged, brushing off his jacket. "Yeah, I did. He wasn't here to play hero. He'd had enough of that on set. But some things you couldn't walk away from, not when you'd seen what he had, growing up where he did." The manager scurried over, sweating. "Sir, I'm so sorry for the disruption. Your meal's on the house. Please, just, let's keep things calm." Jason nodded. Already heading back to his booth. No trouble, he said, echoing his earlier words. He sat. Took a sip of his whiskey. And stared out the window at the city lights. The restaurant buzzed again. But the energy had shifted. Diners whispered. Stealing glances at him. A few clapped quietly. And an older woman raised her glass in respect. Lily went back to work. But she kept glancing at Jason, her curiosity growing. Who was this guy, stepping in like that, no hesitation? She'd seen his face somewhere, maybe a movie poster. But he wasn't acting like a celebrity. He was just there. Like he'd wandered in for a quiet night and ended up flipping the room upside down. As the night wound down, Jason paid his bill, waving off the manager's offer to comp it. Hollywood could wait. He'd come here for a reset. A reminder of who he was beneath the stunts and scripts. He stepped outside. The cool night air hitting his face. The city's neon glow reflecting off wet pavement. Footsteps followed. Hey, Lily called. Jogging to catch up. She'd changed out of her uniform, her hair loose, framing her face. I didn't say thank you. Not properly. Jason turned. His face unreadable. You don't owe me anything. Maybe not, she said. Crossing her arms against the chill. But you didn't just help me. You showed everyone in there that people like him don't get to win. That matters. He studied her. Then gave a small nod. You held your own, too. That's not nothing. She smiled. Tired but genuine. Why'd you do it? You don't know me. Jason's gaze drifted to the skyline. His mind flashing to his own past, bullies, street fights, moments he wished someone had stepped in. Came here to get away from it all, he said. But some things you can't ignore, no matter how much you want a break. Lily nodded. Understanding more than he said. Well, if you're ever back, coffee's on me. I'm Lily. Jason, he said. Then turned to walk away. Take care, Lily. As he vanished into the night. Lily watched. The city humming around her. Back in the restaurant, the story of the guy who'd humbled Victor Crane spread. Growing with each retelling. But for Jason, it was just a moment. A line drawn in the sand. He wasn't here for fame or fights. He was here to breathe. To find himself again. And tonight, that was enough.